Hello, people. Welcome to the Creator of Bricks. Today, I have a review of the DC Multiverse New 52 Superman. This is one I've been waiting on for a long time, ever since the line started, and I got this figure. This was the first ever McFarlane Superman I ever got, was the Superman Unchained figure. So, ever since the line started, I've been waiting on New 52 Superman just to go with that figure. Plus, I'm a huge fan of this costume specifically for Superman. I think it is one of the best designs for him. I know it's a very controversial costume with it not having the trunks on it, and that's just a huge argument among Superman fans. So this is one that I've been waiting on for a very, very long time. So with that, what do I think of this figure? I think this is mostly a good attempt at doing that costume design in McFarlane form. With that, I'm going to go into my complaints first with the figure, just get straight into what we're here for. Biggest problem with this figure is the fact that this logo is printed on. It's not the worst painted on logo that I've ever seen, but you know, I would prefer it to be sculpted, much like some of the other McFarlane Superman, like this one, which I'll be comparing it to in a minute. When they were doing some of the reveals, they showed this figure with the sculpted logo in the digital renders. So it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of sucky. So that's I wish it did have a sculpted logo instead of it being like this. So, you know. But it does have new boots. It has that for it, so it's accurate to New 52 Superman in that way, and then the belt is also new. There's some other problems with this figure too. So some other parts that are painted that probably shouldn't have been. The one thing that's painted that I don't really have a problem with is the neck with the collar. I think that's fine with it printed on there, so I don't have a problem with that. These wrist gauntlets could have been better, because you see that they have like that triangle right there. I think they could have honestly sculpted that, but I get it with trying to reuse the body, so I get that. I get why they did that with this figure. Another thing that's weird with this costume, that was another big controversial thing with the New 52 Superman design, was that it was more of an armor than previous costumes for Superman instead of a cloth. So the thing with this is there's no printing anywhere for the digital armor lines, or just the armor lines in general. And there's no sculpting or anything to represent that. Kind of like, it's not a completely accurate version of the costume, but I don't think it's a bad version of the New 52 Superman. People have been complaining about this head, for instance, and I think this actually looks a good amount like Jim Lee's art for New 52 Superman. I think it's a good looking head sculpt. It kind of looks like, I forgot his name, I'll put an image of him right here, but that actor, I think it actually looks a lot like him. It's kind of weird because he's not like an actor for Superman, but it kind of does look like him. Another problem with this Superman figure is that the fact that they didn't put a wire inside this cape. I had to go in and add a wire to this cape. I had to go get a little Debbie bag of donuts, and I had to put it through the cape. I had to make this little hole right here, and I had to get it through because I didn't think at the time. Plus, I was out on vacation. I didn't think to pop the neck off and do it that way. Also, I didn't have glue at the time, so I'm like, let me just get this done. It's kind of a barbaric way of doing this, but it was what I had at the time, and it works. So now it has the wired cape, but it honestly should have, and I don't know why it doesn't. It's kind of just weird not having the wire in there, even though you've sewn it in a way that's like, it's obvious that a wire is supposed to be there. Anytime with McFarlane, you're supposed to get the wire in there if it's sewn like this. So it's just very weird that it doesn't have the wire in there. When you get it out of box, it just doesn't have that. So it's just very weird. But you know, I think this figure, the body it uses, I think it's kind of worth it for the reuse a little bit. It should have been a new body, but I feel like what we get here is worth it. So we get this much up, so it's a lot there, and then down is this much, so I think that's pretty good. With the upper body, you get that much back, you get that much forward. With the crotch split, you can get this much. It's a very soft diaper, so that's very good. The kicking up is very good as well. You can do this much kicking up, so you can get flight poses and just the 3-point pose very easily. I'll show the 3-point pose in a minute. Double jointed knees go in this much, so that's very good as well. Up on the ankle goes up this much, and then back that far. Pivot is awesome. It does everything you want it to do. It can go 360 right there. A lot of spinny on the arm right there for the fake butterfly right there. The bicep swivel works very well. You can get 360 right there without it popping off. Double jointed elbows go in very far as well, even though they're kind of ugly right here. And then the wrists can go back and forth like that, and then 360, and then 360 at the base of the wrist as well. The articulation on this is actually very good. It reuses the body of the DC Classic Superman or just Page Puncher Superman. And yeah, you can see it right here. You can see the similarities. It also reuses parts of Superman Blue with the boot specifically and the wrists, so it's not entirely reuse of this one. It's a good amount of reuse of this figure as well with the Superman Blue, like I said. The figure I wanted to compare this with was the Rebirth Superman that McFarlane made, and this is a version of Superman that I like in the comics, but I think this figure isn't the greatest, even though I have multiple of this figure, just because I find it cheap sometimes. So I have multiple of it, even though it's not a very good figure, and they keep reusing this body for Superman, or they kept doing it. They're not reusing it as much anymore, I've seen. So that's good that we're not seeing as much of it, because I don't think it's the greatest Superman body. But I think this is a much better Superman body than this one. And I think it would be awesome if we got a redo of Rebirth on the New 52 body, or well, not even the New 52 body, but the Page Puncher's body. So it's kind of interesting because now we have kind of our timeline of Superman costumes here, because we get New 52 right here, and then right after that is Rebirth. So it's kind of cool to see these two together. You can see kind of how the suit evolves. This isn't how it exactly came. I put some metallic blue on there and then redid the boot line right there because it was ugly on the original release. But yeah, you can see how it kind of evolves. We cut back on the red boots right here for Rebirth, and we get this red like upper boot thing, and then belt changes too. I think I like the New 52 Superman belt more, but you see this figure has the sculpted logo that I think the New 52 needed. This isn't the only Rebirth Superman that I have, like I mentioned, because I also have this custom Rebirth Superman right here that's kind of my own take on Rebirth Superman. It's got metallic blue on it. I redid the belt right here a little bit, and then yeah, this is kind of just my preference for Superman for Rebirth and everything. So yeah, here he is next to him. My comic exposure to the New 52 Superman is kind of interesting. What I've read with New 52 Superman is his first volume, which is kind of this story where it follows these kind of elemental kind of things. So it's like these monsters or yeah, these like little nanites that create monsters, and it's kind of a mystery of who or like what is sending these monsters out, and it's these like little bug things, and it's kind of a lame story. There's some good moments with Lois in there, where you get some moments where Lois is smart in that book. So I don't think New 52 Superman, the first volume, is the greatest, but I think it's all right. And then a volume of New 52 Superman I actually really like is the Superman and Wonder Woman book, where it follows Superman, Wonder Woman, Feora, and General Zod. I think it's a very good series, or at least that first volume that I read with those two. A moment I like in that book is where you get Superman and Wonder Woman. They're kind of like a nuclear like power plant, and they're in there, and it's about to explode from what I remember. And you just get this nice moment between the two, and I think it's a very nice moment. It's like one of my favorite moments between Wonder Woman and Superman. So I like that book a lot, like General Zod and Feora in that book. Some more exposure I've had with New 52 Superman is with him in Darkseid War. I didn't have a problem with him there. So I like New 52 Superman. Oh yeah, also the first volume of Justice League, I read that as well. People really dislike New 52 Superman. From my exposure, I have not disliked New 52 Superman entirely. He's not my favorite version of Superman. My favorite version of Superman is more of the Dan Jurgens 90s Superman. I have a version of that, custom version of that character in McFarlane form I'll get out. But yeah, this is more of my preference for how I like my Superman. It's more this long-haired, bright blue, big S kind of Superman. That is my favorite version of Superman, at least in the comics. It's just a version of Superman I really love. New 52 isn't bad. I still need to get further into the New 52 to see why people really dislike this version of Superman. It's a really controversial version of him, and I haven't exactly seen why. I mean, he's a little angry at points, and I can see why that would turn some people off, and there's some dialogue in that first volume of Superman that I'm like, that isn't my favorite. But, you know, I think it's not a bad version of Superman. Like, there's a moment in that first volume of Superman, and I'm like, yeah, that's Superman. That feels like him. So yeah, I still need to go further on and see what exactly the main complaints are with the New 52 Superman. I mentioned his card, so here it is. It's got Jim Lee artwork on it, as you can see. Pretty cool artwork. Yeah, that's my general thoughts on this New 52 Superman. I'll show you some poses, and I'll give my final score of the figure for you. So as you can see, you can get this figure into the 3-point pose, like the iconic superhero landing pose. So that's always a bar that I try to look out for in figures. If they can hit that 3-point pose, it's kind of just the most iconic like landing pose for a hero. So you got to do that. And then here's a flight pose right here. Pretty cool looking flight pose how I got it. And here's kind of a recreation of Superman #1. So overall, what are my thoughts on this figure, you ask? So I think this figure is kind of a very mixed bag of things. If you're looking just for a standard Superman figure, I think this will do for you. Like, it's a good Superman figure if you're looking for articulation, and it's just got pretty much most of the looks that you're looking for Superman, where it's just like, you know, it's got the blue suit, it's got the red S, it's got the cape on there. You know, it's a very basic kind of looking Superman design. It's not like classic, but, you know, it's got most of the points that you're going to want if you're looking for a Superman figure. It's kind of like, if you're looking for like a modern kind of looking Superman, this is a very good for you. Just one that poses well. It's going to fit in your collection. You're looking for one for your Justice League or something. Yeah, this will do you well. This is definitely something to go for. But if you're looking for a New 52 Superman that's accurate, this is probably not the one for you. It's not. It doesn't have the tech lines on there, or the armor lines on there. It doesn't have a sculpted logo. It doesn't have a couple of the things that make the New 52 Superman the New 52 Superman design. So I think it's a very mixed bag if you're looking for accuracy. It's got most of the points there. Like, it's got the black S on the back right here. It's got the, well, it's got the correct logo, but it's printed, like I said. Then it's got the belt. It's got the accurate boots. It's got the wrist, kind of this weird triangle wrist thing that the New 52 has, but I like that, so I'm not going to say anything about that. See, it's very, just depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a New 52 Superman that's accurate, I don't think this is very good for you. But if you're looking for a good Superman figure, I think this is a very good one for you. So I'm going to give you 2 scores. As a Superman figure, I think this is an 8. As a version of New 52 Superman, as a representation of New 52 Superman, I think this is very much a 6. I don't think this is the most accurate version of it. It hits most of the points, but still missing some things for it. But like I said, I think if you're looking for a New 52 Superman, or if you're looking for a basic Superman figure, I think this is going to be a very good one for you. But it doesn't have the wire in there for some reason, so that's kind of the main thing that's going to draw it back for me with just the main score. With the 8 out of 10 is it doesn't have that wired cape, and it doesn't come with any accessories either. So it's kind of like, come on, you could have at least gave me the wired cape on this. So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts on this. The 8 out of 10 for just if you're looking for a Superman figure, and then just a 6 out of 10 if you're looking for New 52 Superman. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you around.
Not bad for a guy who just kicks the snot out of wankers.